So our lesson actually for today should focus our attention on creative writing. That's what we want to try to get to, creative writing. And we're looking on the two types of letters that you'll be asked to look at for the sake of the exam. For the sake of the formal letter of apology and the formal letter of information. Of course, you know you have a choice. So you're going to be given two scenarios and you choose one and you write the expected structure for the one that you have chosen. So we want to walk through that and hopefully we're able to do one together. All right, so let me just have it's kind of bubbly on both sides. I don't know why. So wait on it to come up a bit. So the first thing we're going to be interfaced with is a review of the format for a formal letter. So can anybody remind me, please, what should come to mind when we think about how it should be, the letter should be organized while the recording, while the information comes up? What are some of the organizational features that we expect to see when we think of formal letters? Anybody wants to try? Anybody wants to try? What should come to our mind when we think of letters? What are some things that we're expecting to see in letters? Formal letters. Anybody? Somebody? Anyone? Someone? Okay. I guess you're not ready to talk yet. Are you hearing me, guys? All right. Why do you think about that a bit? Okay, why do you think about that a bit? Just quickly going through the objectives. So we want to be able to describe the formal letter of apology and the formal letter of information. We want to be able to collaborate too, to write samples of these. And then we want to leave you with a scenario after we would have collaborated for you to do your own personal writing. Now, when we think of the structure, morning, Russell, when we think of the structure for a letter, we are thinking about the sender's address. That's your address. And based on the scenario, you might be given the address that you need to send the letter from. In that case, that person will be the sender. Then you have the date. Then you have the receiver's address. And of course, you have a subject. And you have the greeting or salutation. And you have the introduction, which is where you write why you write. And then, of course, you have the body with 3 well-developed paragraphs, including details as given in the scenario. And by well-developed, when it's a letter, so we might mean like about 1 or 2 sentences at most. And then you have your concluding paragraph now, where you put in your contact information. If, say, we're thinking about the letter of information, or for the sake of the apology, you reinforce, re-apologize, and of course you ensure that the reader is able to see how sincere you are in not having the situation repeated. And of course you end with your closing and your signature. So we want to get there today. So if you're looking at this slide, you will actually see 2 styles that I know that you're familiar with when we think about writing the addresses and date, right? So if we're thinking about writing our addresses, we have a style that is called the Indent Style, which is quite traditional, where you have the sender's address, which is up top right, and the receiver's address always at bottom left, right? And then you have the block style, which is quite acceptable in the world of business, where you have the sender's address directly above the receiver's address on the left side. So you can choose the one that you prefer and just stick to that, because this is what you're going to be asked to write on when you do 6C anyway for section B, which is where the letters would come. Now, we have different specified beginnings. You can just think right now about one and write down the one that you want to put into your letter that you'll be asked to write at the end of this lesson. So if you are thinking about doing letter of information, you can begin that first paragraph by saying, I'm writing to let you know, or I'm writing to inform you about, or I'm writing to respond to, or I'm writing in response to, or I'm writing with regard to, or I'm writing in connection with, or I'm writing to reply to, or I'm writing in reference to. Hi, Brittany. Now, if you're thinking about the letter of apology, then you want to begin by saying, I'm writing to apologize for, I'm writing to express this my sincere apologies about, I'm writing to let you know that we apologize for, or I'm writing to respectfully apologize for. Right? So you have to decide which one. And I'm sure you're thinkers, so you're thinking about some others as I'm talking. Now, if we have a beginning, we would have an end, right? So there are specified ways to end our letters as well. So we could end the letter of apology by saying, I am so sorry, and I do hope that this issue will not be repeated again. Or you could say, we are so sorry, and we do hope that this issue will not be repeated again. Or you can say, I hope that I will be able to maintain our usual business relationship, or we hope that we will be able to maintain our usual business relationship, or we do apologize again for any inconveniences that you may have faced, or I am looking forward to our continued relationship. And I'm sure you're thinking about others too. Now, on the side of the letter of information, now, you could end by saying, I hope that this information will be of some assistance. I hope or trust that I have been able to answer all your questions. I would be pleased or happy to provide you with additional information. I'm looking forward to your reply. And I do hope that I get this immediately or as soon as you're able to. And we know the different endings that we can have there. Now, closure. Closure, as we know, we are so extensive in the number of ideas that you could use there. Morning oral. So you could close your letter by saying, yours respectfully, yours faithfully, regards, warmest regards, sincerely, yours truly, best regards. And of course, you can say truly too. All right. Now, what is most important as you write your closure is that if you're using the phrases, like those with two pieces of words there, then you're expected to remember that the first word, like yours, would start with a capital Y, while the second one starts with a common like what you're seeing there with yours respectfully and yours faithfully and warmest regards and yours truly and best regards. Notice the structure. That's very important. No, it's a business letter that we're writing. So we expect to see your full name and the title for which you have been assigned. You're operating as students right now, but based on the given scenarios, you might be operating in other roles. And for that, we're going to have to put your first name, last name, and the role that you're asked to pretend to be for the sake of the scenario that you're given. Are we good? Are we good, guys? Are we good? Type 1 in the chat if we're good so far. Have I confused anybody? Type 1 in the chat quickly to indicate that we're good so far. Nice, Rikayla. Thank you. Only Rikayla good? What about the other 6 of us? Or is it that we came on late? All right, no problem. Thank you so much for volunteering. All right. Now, when we get to the salutation now, guys, now, if the person is unknown, without a doubt, we are going to write dear sir / madam, and we put our colon because it's a formal letter. But now in the business world, they have taken also to use the information dear sirs. That too is acceptable, even if we know that the owner is a female, right? But if we don't want to appear sexist, it's best to use dear sir / madam, and we put our colon. Now, if the name is mentioned, the name for whom you need to write to, you're going to have to put back that name. Now, there's no hard and fast rule to say if you want to use a comma or colon in this regard. So once the name is mentioned, it is dear Mrs. James. Say, for example, it could be Miss James, I put a comma, or dear Mrs. James, colon, or Miss James, or Mr. James, depending on whoever it is. But once the name is mentioned, you put it back after the dear, and you decide whether you want to use a comma and a colon in that regard. Good? Are we good? Are we good so far? All right, when I ask you, I'm expecting to see you put one in the chat. So there we have it, guys. When we think of a letter of apology, remember we have been taught over the past couple of weeks that a letter of apology, any letter in fact, can be formal or informal. But for the sake of the exam, we're focusing on the formal letter. And because we're thinking about the formal kind of letter, we're thinking that the letter would have the heading, that's addresses and dates, subject, salutation, introductory paragraph, 3 well-developed paragraphs, concluding paragraph, closure, and signature. And we know we're going to depend on the type of letter. So there we have it there. Now, when we think about organizing a letter of apology, you need to understand that we are expecting, and CSEC is also expecting to see 5 things. 1, that's the first paragraph. You must outline the reason for writing and say sorry. 2, you must clearly state what caused the problem. So in the second paragraph, you have to say very clearly what caused the problem. 3, you have to express clearly the relevant information that you want your reader to note. And 4, you have to express measures intended to solve the problem. So if we know some sick at a business, all right, we know that person going to be inconvenienced, what the company plan to do to fix this relationship. And 5, and by no means least, you're going to be asked to ensure that you repeat the apology and state that you have no idea, or you do not want to repeat the problem ever again, right? So that's it in terms of how we organize the paragraphs of the letter of apology. Now let's flip over and then we're going to go into the body. So is the format different for the letter of information when we think about what we expect to see? No. We are also expecting to see a heading with addresses and date. We expect to see a salutation. We expect to see a subject. We want to see the introductory paragraph. We want to see the 3 well-developed paragraphs. We want to see the concluding paragraph, and we want to see the closure and signature. So this is pretty much the same format that we're expected to see. So once you have the format top off, you don't get a 10 marks right there. It's marked with a 30 all the way when you're thinking all the way up to 60. Once you have all those things there, you get a 10 mark without a doubt. So just say that all you would have need now is just 5 more marks. They would have been halfway through because it's marked out of 30. So in terms of organization now for the letter of information, just like with the letter of apology, we want to see you outlining the reason for writing. And that's the first thing you put in the paragraph for the letter of information. Secondly, you put the first detail, because for CSEC, we try to skew the scenarios in relation to how CSEC would give you. So they would give you what they want you to put in the letter. So you put that first piece of detail that they asked to put in the letter in the second paragraph, the second piece of detail that they asked you to put in the letter in the third paragraph, and the third piece of detail that they asked you to put in the letter in the fourth paragraph. By the time you reach the 5th paragraph now, you're expected now to give your contact information and the deadline that you want all of these things to be received. All right, so let's look on. Are we good? Are we good, guys? Type in the chat so that I know that you are good. Type in the chat, please. 1 if you're good, 0 if you're not good. I give you a minute to respond. Are you hearing me, guys? I expect you to respond to me so that I know that you are understanding or not understanding. 1 if you're good, 0 if you're not good. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Come, students. Why are we not talking? Why are we not talking? It's supposed to be a revision. It's not me revising and I have what I have already. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you. All right. So what's the difference really? What is the difference here? When we think about what is expected for the letter of apology and what is expected for the letter of information, all that we see that is really different is in terms of the body of the paragraph. What is in the body of the paragraph? So let's zoom in a bit on the body of the paragraph. So here is our first scenario. And I'm going into the letter of apology. And we know we have the letter structure there for the body. So the scenario says, pretend that you're a customer service representative at a popular tour company. So you're no longer students today. The task is here to apologize to the customers who are likely to face inconvenience because of the closure of the company to facilitate an annual staff event. You're asked to clearly express the closing date, the resumption date, to relate the details of a Zoom customer fest as a way that the customer intends to maintain customer relationships. You're also asked to write the letter of apology from the tour company. So it's the Tour Galore 2-4 Palace Drive, Trelawney. And you're asked to send this letter directly to a Mr. Dawkins, May Lane, Discovery Bay, St. Anne. So that's the scenario here. I've pretty much gone ahead and kind of flesh out what is expected. So there we have it. If we were to write this letter any at all, we have the sender's address there. Right there, we need to put our date. We know today's date. We have the receiver's address. We have to think about the subject, right? And then by the time we get into after salutation now, it's just about us organizing to outline the reason and apologize, state the cause of the problem, state relevant details to note, express measures intended to solve the problem, and repeat the apology with no intention of the recurring issue. And then of course you have your closure and your signature. So I'm a little bit preemptive, I'm a little bit proactive. So I've gone ahead and put in some of the specific information there. So I'm going to need your help to flesh it out accordingly. So I'm going to come out of this slide and we're going to do some writing. You're going to help me to do some writing now. So there we have in the sender's address is expected to be the Tour Galore 2-4 Palace Drive, Trelawney, and today's date, June 17. The receiver's address, the person who should receive it is Mr. Dawkins, and he lives at May Lane, Discovery Bay, St. Anne, and the subject, tour company closure. And so what's the first thing? Tour company closure. The annual staff event. Why is it being closed? The closing date and resumption date. That's what we need to put there. By the time we get to the third paragraph, the Zoom customer fest. And by the final paragraph, we're going to put in that phrase, we do apologize again for the inconveniences caused. And then we have our closure and our signature. And of course, our role would be the customer service representative. So that is how it should look if we were to have the plan. So this is the plan. This is how the plan would look. And a plan is very important, especially as you move into doing the City and Guilds exam where they ask you for a plan. So this is how the plan would look. I'm going to ask for your assistance now as I try to write this letter. So I'm going to come out of this big screen here now. And we're going to the direct slide. And I'm going to ask for your assistance to help me. So I'm going to pull it up a bit. And ask you to help me do some writing and fix it up like how it would look if we were to actually write the letter. So I'm going to go on this slide here now. It's coming up, so it's not going to give me the option to really remove anything right now. All right, so we want to fix this like a nice little address. think I'm going to use the block style. So I'm going to take out all of this part here now. Put out all of that. And this is the same pattern. I know that when you're typing in the form to enter, you know, you just put in you just enter and it goes down, right? Everything else goes down. So all you have to do is just put in the enter and it goes down. So I'm going to take out my commas because I really don't have to use them right here. Goes down there. And then I have my date. I want to see some of the features up the top because I want to give it one space. But I can't see up your top here, so to give it one space. All right, probably just have to stay in terms of formatting. All right, next I'm going to remove all of this. I'm going to cut all of here now, delete that. And we have the mailing coming up, taking off the commas, entering it, discovery bay, entering that. And we have the send and here. And later fix up the details. Let it look nicer. All right. And then we would have had our subject. So you can choose to put a space in between. You can make a choice. Just go and get Finder. For the sake of this letter, permit me just to put the space after the receiver's address. All right. And then I'm going to put another space where we have the senders. And then I know I have Dear Dawkins, Dear Sir Dawkins. No, I'm going to put that, all of that needs to go into a regular piece of information here. So we have Dear Mr. Dawkins. All right, let me just write it properly. Just capital letter. Full stop. And I'm going to put my comma. Right? And I'm taking most of this information here. I think I will end up with about 2 paragraphs on this side. So let me cut out all the others and put them on the other side. And then get that back, pushing up right there. So by the time I get over this side, just put it right here. All right, so I am going to choose one of those. Remember the beginnings that we had there? Which one I think I can put right here? I am writing. Which one could I put there? Somebody help me out now. Help me out now. It's not my exam, you know. Can I get some assistance, please? Press the assistance. Somebody can help me, please? Which one of the startings could be used? To you or valid customer. Put valuable. Valuable customer. As we inform you about the closure of our poor company. And then I'm going to take out everything else that can come up so that you can actually see what is happening here. And I can see what corrections I need to make. company as slated for June 18th, 2021. Put the closing date right there. I probably not put the closing date because we asked to put the closing date in another paragraph, right? Full stop. This is to facilitate our annual staff event. But by the time we get in the second paragraph now, we should have said, this is to facilitate our annual staff event. Let me see if that pops up for us. All right, so I'm going to cut off this and put it over on the other side so we see what is happening on this side. Valuable look like it's spelled wrong because I couldn't see anything on this side. All right. Are we seeing? Is it making sense to us now? All right. The good thing about this thing is that I can just quickly click on it and see what the suggestions are. Kind of fine, but it put in because I can't bother to spell it anything right now. So I'm going to change the face, the writing. I'm hoping that I can. I'm going to take a whole heap out of me for the sake of this thing here. So we have that. We have that. We have that. So I'm removing some of the space so you can see what is happening. Do you see what is happening here, guys? Do you see what is happening here in terms of sentence? People? Students, are you still with me or have you gone somewhere else? So by the time we get over this side now, we are going to say the tentative closing date is June 18, 2021. The resumption date is, so the short sentences. June 19, 2021. Right? And that would just finish for us the second. So we are now at the third paragraph. So this would pretty much finish everything right here for us for the third paragraph. So now we're going into the third paragraph. Now we're going to say, in order to maintain our good relations, everything good? Because I'm not even looking up, you know. Company invites you to a Zoom customer fest. Details and link will be provided soon. Feel like it's my exam this. Boy. Any questions, any concerns? Any questions, any concerns? Students? And our last paragraph, this would be our last paragraph, but we want to change some of these lettering. So where we have the capital letter, we want to put it into common letters here. We do apologize we do apologize again for any inconveniences. Am I spelling the word right? Oh, no, I misspelled it. I know that. Caused. And of course, there we have it. And that's pretty much it. Comprenden? That's our letter. That's our letter, guys. Did I make any errors? Is there anything I could have done differently? Let me give you a minute to think about it. All right, so that's it. That's how it would look if we were to flesh it out properly. All right? 5 clear paragraph, and each paragraph has just one sentence, or at the most 2 sentences. All right? So we have the first address, the sender's address, the date, the receiver's address. Oh, and nobody told me that the discovery being should have been gone down there. You see what I'm talking about? You're not working with me, guys. Then we have the subject, tour company closure. Dear Mr. Dawkins, I'm writing to apologize to you. Or valuable customer. Of course, you have to read over. Or valuable customer, as we inform you about the closure of our tour company. And we're going to take off this. To always read over, proofread, and edit. This is to facilitate our annual staff event. The tentative closing date is June 8, 2021. The resumption date is June, and June is in capital U. Capital U there needs to come out. In order to maintain our good relations, the company is inviting, that will be better. I don't know why we're so quiet, people. Why are we so quiet? A Zoom customer fest. Let me put quotation marks around this. No talking. I guess you'll write properly. The details and login links will be provided soon. We do apologize again for any inconveniences caused. Yours respectfully, Lisa Grant, Customer Service Representative. So that's pretty much how it would look. Any questions? Are there any questions now, guys? I take any questions at this time. Any questions, any concern? Is it clear? Can I get some feedback from you? Is this clear as to what you will do? Type 1 in the chat or type no. I'll give you 2 minutes to respond. 2 minutes to look at it and think about it and then respond. If it's clear, put 1. If it's not clear, put 2. And tell me what is the problem. Are you hearing me, guys? Why so quiet? Rikayla, should I go on the other side? Let me go on the other side and see what is happening here from your end. Rihanna, Shadia, Kesia, Brittany, and I'm not seeing any of my students. Are you okay, guys? Let me see. I see something in the chat here. 1 if you're okay. 0 if you're not okay. You have a choice. Thank you, Brittany. And I think Brittany speaks for everybody. And I'm wondering why my students they're not on the platform at this time. And I know they're not going to watch the recording. Okay. All right. Let me go back on the other side now and continue. So that is pretty much how we would have written a letter of apology. And I hear you have been doing quite well in producing excellent letter of apologies. Let's go on the flip side now. where we are focusing now on our letter of information. So I'm going back into the presentation mode now. I'm going to find out what is happening with the students in my class. Why aren't they on the information here? So you get a final look at it again. Final look. Please join the class, guys. You're missing something very important, and I know you're not going to watch a recording. Please join the class. If you have issues logging in, just take the link. Let me send the links to you so that you can actually join in from here. Let me send a link to you. All right, just give me a minute, please, guys. I'm going to send the link to them. All right, so mail a little bit on that and look at what you could have done differently if this were your letter, and think a bit about how you go about changing the idea here. Just going to send a link over to them. Peace. All right, please join. Okay, oh, it's not going to give me the option to talk. All right, I think I talk already. All right, so let's go back into it now. So now we're going to be going into our actual activity where we try to do the information letter. So this is our structure, and we are given this scenario here. We are asked to pretend that you did not get to see the grade 9 Careers Day event, and this is one of the long time tasks, so I guess I will get your assistance here. And you have not been informed about details pertaining to your favorite subject. So you have just received a form to choose your option, but now you need to know the teacher assigned, the CSET details about this subject, and the number of class sessions. Write a letter of information to the grade 9 guidance counselor. And remember, for your letter of information, include the reason for writing to your grade 9 guidance counselor, explain why the information requested is important to you, say exactly the specific detail that you are requesting, and indicate a deadline and contact information. Can't get it no clearer than that. So this is how I fleshed it out. So the sender's address, wait there. Is which one me look at a while ago? Lordy D. Oh, I put the wrong thing on the wrong slide. Forgive me. The scenario that we're supposed to be working with is the one that says pretend that you want to purchase several items from a popular store in the community. You need the cost for the items, the cost of transportation, and other valuable information. And you're asked to write this letter of information expressing your needs. The one before is the one that you are going to do at the end of the day. So forgive me for that. I'm only human. All right. So you're asked to remember to include the reason for writing to the owner of this popular community store, explain why the information requested is important to you, and say exactly the specific detail that you are requesting. And you're to indicate a deadline and contact information. So this is how I fleshed it out for you over there, guys. So I put the sender's address, and I just make up an address, and where a popular store would be Square One, Main Street. Everything that I have as address in St. Anne's Bay has to do with Main Street. So Main Street, St. Anne's Bay, St. Anne, and then we write, we're talking about June 17, 2021. That's the date. Then we have the receiver's address. That's my address. Canaan Road Bamboo, Bamboo PO sent on, and you would have had your own personal addresses right here. The subject now is request to purchase item. Of course, I don't know these people, so I said, dear sir slash madam. And the first paragraph now, I need to say that I am requesting to purchase several items, or I have sent in requests to purchase several items. Then I'm going to say the first detail, the cost of the items, the request for the cost of the item. Second, how much they're going to charge me to transport this item to me. And then I'm going to ask them, is there anything else that I need to know? And of course, I'm going to leave my contact information and the expected deadline to retrieve the information when I want to get it. And of course, my closure is regards, and I'm using Lisa Grant. All right. So this is it now. And this is where we get busy. So I'm going to again come out of this. And we're going to actually write in the letter now. I should get your help, but you people are rather quiet. I don't know why. I guess you're observing so that you can make valuable contributions later on. I'm hoping that that is what is happening. All right, so there it is coming up for us. And I am going to do some cutting. Again, I'm going to cut the last couple of items here so that I can carry it over on the other side. So I can fix up what I need to fix up here. So. All right. So I'm going to cut out all of this now because I'm actually writing the address. The address. Wait there. What go wrong a while ago? Delete that. Square One Main Street. We're going to have to put these into common letters. Main Street, Tenants Bay. The sad thing with the Google Docs is that it's the Google platform here when we're doing this thing is that it doesn't give you the option to change the lettering into sentence case. You have to just write it properly. So I'm going to change this and put just Square One. Regular letter. And Square One. I want it to look decent, right? And we have Main Street. So we ensure that the lettering is correct. These must be in the capital S, common, the rest of it. And of course, we know when we write in Saint, we have the capital S and the common T. And then the full stop. And then we have Tenants Bay. So I'm going to change all of this. Common letters. Change all of this. All right, going over this side, St. Anne. Kind of tricky, but it's possible. A little bit of space right here, put it on right here, so now. And then of course we are going to change June. June has bold letters that needs to be in common letter. Right? And then my address now, my time for my address now. New line, carry it down, take out this, enter. I remember when you're using a Google form, and it's something that you have to practice because probably by the time you're ready to sit CXC, you're going to have to use those. You're going to be using it online because CXC wants to get online. So the practice with the Google form document is valuable practice at this time that COVID-19 has rewarded us with. All right, so I'm going to change all of this to common letter now. You just enter that nicely. By the time I get over this side, and then we'll change that. So we know for those of us, I'm from Kingston, so this is not how my street name would look. we have a district, but what we have would be a street, and then we have the post office, and then of course we have our parish. But be down here, I understand that some of you have district and then you have post office. You have to put that information there. So don't worry too much about the repetition. One stands for the district and one stands for the post office. And in some cases, I know some of you have postal agencies. All right. Request for items, request to purchase item. We could choose to fix this up to. The subject must always be capitalized. Probably you can put it in common S, capital S. So let me just fix that. Purchase items are missing. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to cut this part of it off. Just delete that. Fix the subject. Put that in bold. Oh, it was already in bold. Okay. All right. So this is where we are at now. We're going down into the dear. So we know we're going to put dear sir / madam, and this needs to fix nicely. So let me just rewrite it all. Okay. Maybe I have a colon over there. So how do we start? I'm writing to inform you that I have made request via email to purchase several items. That's what I'm going to write. And remember all those other ways that you could have begun, you can employ them here. And so we can cut off the rest of it. So there, just like that. See there, I'm writing. Okay. So that would be my first paragraph, one simple sentence. I'm writing to inform you that I have sent a request to purchase several items from your store via email. Now, by the time we're going into our second paragraph, we're asked to request the cost of the item. So simple one too. Okay, acknowledge, Rakila, acknowledge. Okay. All right, so any minute you can go, but you can watch a recording at a later date. Please inform me of, so we can add, please inform me of we're at the end now, me of the cost of these items. We'll stop. One sentence, because that's all I need is the cost in that paragraph. Next paragraph, you're asked about the transportation. I've noted with interest, so you can say, I have noted with interest that I have noted with interest that you facilitate, and I like that word in the transportation of goods purchased from your store. Kindly relate to me the cost for such. Kindly relate to me the cost. Should I use this service? Should I decide to use this service? I can put in, should I decide to use this service? So we can cut out that. Two simple sentences there. That's it for that one. Carry this up a little bit. Then by the time I get to the fourth paragraph here now, we want to ensure that we ask if there's any other thing that we need to know in order to make the process smoother, right? Is there any other information that I should be made aware of to smooth this process? Question. We hope for them to answer to that. One simple question sign there. Then they say, I can be contacted at the above address and my phone number is blah, blah, blah. Please make an effort to contact me. I expect to receive your contact, this contact as soon as possible. I can be reached at the above address. My phone number is 876-556-4236. Just making up something. I am looking forward to your immediate response. And then let's say thanks in advance. Say thanks in advance, all right? I'm going to end by saying thanks in advance. And that's it. And then that would be it. To cut out that. And then we have our closing, which will be regards, and of course, Lisa Grant. Lisa Grant. Okay, kind of insulting in capital letter like this. Any questions? We're good? We're good? So that's it. Normally when we write anything, we read over. As I said, for the sake of the exam, you're expected to write. And if you this is practice for CSEC, practice for City and Guilds, and practice for when you should have gone to anywhere else in the future. So this is just all a matter of practice. And practice cannot do any, practice just make it perfect. So let's read over. We would have had space, but it's for the sake, we would have had space in between the addresses and the date, right? I'm right to inform you that I have sent a request to purchase several items from your store via email. Please inform me of the cost of these items. I've noted with interest that you facilitate the transportation of goods purchased from your store. Kindly relate to me the cost should I decide to use this service. Is there any other information that I should be made aware of to smooth this process? I can be reached at the above address. My phone number is 876. Let me put in the 7. Oh, it's gone over somewhere else. 876-556-4326. I'm looking forward to your immediate response. Thanks in advance. Regards, Lisa Grant. And that's pretty much how we would do this letter if we're doing letter of information. So remember, we're just putting back what they asked us to put back, and we're putting it back in a decent way. Usually we try to do it in 1 sentence or 2 sentences at most, or a question in the case of where we look into the third paragraph there that was phrased into a question. So it depends on you what you have planned. So let me give you a couple of seconds for you to look at it in a bigger screen, and then you are going to tell me. Type 1 in the chat if you understand what is happening, or 2 if you're not. So that's it on big screen right there for you to see. That's how it would look if you're writing this letter of information. So I'm trusting that the slides will be presented for you inside of your for you to peruse, so that you're able to see what happens from your end. All right, I'm going to send over this slide, my version of the slides to you, so that you can view. I think Miss Riley has it too, but I made a copy of the slide. All right, so I can put this into the slide, so you have it there to view and look at in order to do your activities that you'll find on the Google Classroom. You find these 2 activities. Pretend that you are a customer agent representative at a popular museum. The task is here to apologize to the customers who are likely to face inconvenience because of the closure. Because of the closure of the company to facilitate an unforeseen private event. Clearly express the closing date, resumption date, related details of a public museum showing as a way that the company intends to maintain customer relationships. Write this apology letter from the National Museum, 56 Marcosa Way, St. Mary. Send the letter directly to Miss Phipps, Crescent Drive, Runaway Bay, St. Anne. Or you have the task of doing the letter of O. It should have been flipped on the other side. All right? So this should have been flipped. So I'm going to put this up the top and that down the bottom. So as I said before, the one that you should have been asked to write on is this one, the one of the guidance counselor. That's the one that you should have been asked to write on. So we'll see what you write. Let me see. All right. So that's it, guys. And our time had expired 7 minutes ago. You do have yourself a wonderful day.
Bye, Miss.
Bye-bye. Hope I was helpful.
Yes, Miss. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. You may go, guys. You may go.